We are live. We are It's a Monday. Welcome to For Evan's Sake Daily. My name is Neodate Evans.
And I'm Nana Evans.
And we bring you the news from a parenting perspective. Today on the show, we will be talking about the Tyre Nichols killing and asking what is wrong with the US police force. We'll also be talking about Rishi Sunak, who has finally removed Nadhim Zahawi from post. Over 50s are struggling to find work. And that is a phone call. And childcare providers in Britain are raising prices, and the UK bans a toxic diet pill. And of course, we have our daily parenting conundrums.
Yeah.
So first off, Tyre Nichols. To be honest, is it Tyre? Tyre Nichols. Apologies, Tyre Nichols. So the Memphis Police Department has disbanded the Scorpion unit following the death of Tyre Nichols after video showed officers beating him. The Scorpion unit was a 50-person team focused on reducing crime levels in specific areas. The 5 officers involved in the death of Tyre Nichols were fired and faced charges of second-degree murder and other offences. Protesters in Memphis and across the country are demanding change to a system of policing that, say, brutalizes Black people. Some believe that the problem of police violence is more deeply rooted than any reform can address, and call for national criminal justice reform. I don't even know where to begin with this. It feels like the ultimate Groundhog Day.
Like just year in, year out, the list gets longer, and it doesn't seem to make any difference in terms of adding body cams.
No.
Dashboard cams.
Mm-mm.
Nothing seems to change. So then it goes to surveillance isn't the thing, because they openly violated. Like he didn't do anything to get stopped, and then he didn't do anything to warrant getting beaten up. And when he tried to save himself, they dragged him back and tasered him. So where do we go from here?
I think the other interesting element of this story is that all of the police officers involved were Black. And a lot of people are like, now it's a bit of a, some people are online doing a bit of a Dave Chappelle gotcha moment sort of thing. Like, what you're going to say now, because these police officers are Black. I think it's really understanding how the police force in America works and the power that it gives individuals. So that's not to discount that there is still a racial element involved when it's white police officers.
There's still a racial element involved when it's Black police officers. There's still racism. Black people can be racist.
Yeah.
They're operating under the same systems. They're upholding the same system of white supremacy. He was still beating up severely because he's a Black man. That doesn't matter that it was Black men that did it. Also, there's other caveats to that in terms of the 5 Black men that have been sacked and their pictures are being paraded. We're not the only people there. He was tasered by a white officer, and we do not know who he is, and we don't have his name, but we can see him in the footage.
See, I deliberately haven't watched any of the footage.
No, I've just seen stills.
And so I didn't know that.
His father, so Tyre's father went on, I think it could have been CNN. He the footage is out there. He went on a news show and spoke about this, and this is what the family are now demanding. Who are these other officers that were there? It's suggested that maybe 3 or 4 cars turned up, and usually in a case like this, 10 police officers in a minimum turn up. So there's other people that were there, and we don't know who they are. So this is, you know, it's criminal. What took place is criminal.
Absolutely.
So if you're a police officer and you were there and you didn't stop it in any way and you contributed, they should also be sacked, and we should know their faces. So again, it's all racist. Why do we only know of these 5 Black officers? The swiftness that this has been dealt with has never been done before. Usually, reeling out the Black female police chief to say this is the worst thing that has ever happened. It's not the worst thing that's ever happened. But all of it plays into it's trying to be like this is some isolated crime when this is a part of policing and the racism that is within the police force.
It's interesting you mentioned the Black police of Chile. I can't speak this morning. The Black chief of police. There was a man on CNN, I forget his name. What was it again? Jonathan
Whitlock. I think it is.
Yeah. Jason Whitlock. He did some amazing mental gymnastics on that show. He was with he'd been interviewed by Tucker Carlson, and he was really playing the role of yes sir, yes sir. And so his take on it was that the black woman is responsible for the destruction of the black man. So he really just took the argument left and basically blamed this whole incident on the fact that the chief of police is a black woman.
That because she is the one running the department.
Yeah.
That this is somehow like there haven't been hundreds of departments facing exactly the same things.
Run by white men.
By men, and and see, this is the whole thing. This is where it's like people get racism as it's black and white, and it's not. Racism is upholding white supremacy, and it's dissolving. And
it can be done by anybody. Yeah.
So this man coming along and trying to deflect from the policing, you're complicit in this. It doesn't matter what color you are, where you're going, how you're blaming. It's all the same thing. The police chief as well. She's upholding white supremacy. Like, it's all the same thing. So, yeah, I mean, that's just ludicrous in itself. And this isn't the worst case. The fact that there are over 1,000 people that were killed by police officers last year in America, which is more than the year before, with all of the cameras and everything else. This is a problem. It's not getting better. Not okay. And then, I think it was only like 46 officers had actually been prosecuted. In all of those different cases, it's like it's okay to just go around killing people.
It's interesting because I remember, I think it was Breonna Taylor, when her shooting happened. Not long after that, during that time, there was another shooting of a white woman by I think it was an American Somali cop.
Yeah.
And he is now currently rotting in prison.
Yes.
And again, the swiftness within how he was dealt with and treated. And so you see it at play at work all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
And just reinforcing whose lives actually matter, who needs to be protected in a way. It's all that it all plays into the same structures. And that's the thing where it's like, let's not get hung up on these were 5 police officers that they're showing us that killed this man. There's more people involved in that. And if they can do RICO charges on various things that are various people where it's like, because you were standing there, you're involved in this criminal enterprise, then all of the other police officers should be involved in this. Because you were complicit. You allowed it to take place. Your charges may not be second-degree murder, but there needs to be other charges for you standing there and allowing this to take place.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's next for America, we know the pattern now. So now there's just going to be this round of civil unrest. There will be no doubt some celebrities making a song or some type of video talking out against it. And it will be in the news cycle for a while. And lots of the race baiters on YouTube and on right-wing stations will have their payday, and they'll go on and then they'll talk about it. And then nothing will change essentially until the next time.
This is it's the same cycle over and over again. But there definitely is a huge element of trauma porn within this, and the video, even the releasing of the video, is a part of racism. Just being like, we're going to release the body cam footage. You don't have to do that into the public psyche. It's like, what is that doing to the mental of all of us that are consuming this? And it's these types of things that really do uphold the system, because it installs fear. And so we lose our judgment. We go into fight or flight. You know that people don't operate at their best when they're in fight or flight. It's perpetually putting this out there so that we stay in this Groundhog Day. And when it happens, it's the same thing. We ask for reform, the same things happen, and we repeat the cycle again. But really, what is the cycle doing to us? That's what we have to start looking at. It's the justice of the person that's been killed and their family. That's one thing. But the psyche that it's doing to the world, that's something else that we have to really get on top of.
It's interesting, the thing that you said about fight or flight, because again, a lot of people will be like, well, why did he run? But this is a beautiful cycle that they've got people in, because you know that if you're getting stopped for no reason at all, there's a very good chance that you're not come out of this alive as a black person in America.
Yeah.
So naturally, any human being in any situation where you're fearing for your life, these are your two natural responses, fight or flight. There isn't going to be that rational brain that's just like, and it's not even to say that that's the rational option, because you could stand there and not run and still.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing is he was so close to his mother's house.
Yeah.
If I could bolt and get inside,
it can help de-escalate because there's more people around. There's my family around. We can de-escalate the situation.
But you would know if you don't even know that they're real police officers.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going on. If you're like just being pulled, you're just driving along, you get stopped, you've been pulled out immediately. You literally could be like, I've got to run away from this. So yeah, but there's always the, what happened before. I would like to see how he was driving.
Yeah.
There's always that stuff. That's all a part of the same thing.
Well, we will watch closely and we will see what happens in America.
I mean, if anything changes, let's see.
Let's see. Okay, so bringing it back to over here, Rishi Sunak has sacked Nadhim Zahawi as the Conservative Party chair. An investigation by Sunak's ethics advisor concluded that Zahawi broke the rules by repeatedly failing to declare an HMRC investigation and settling for £5 million. Repeatedly, it was actually 7 times. Okay. Zahawi failed to apologize. I love the fact that
the way he's sticking to this is just a mistake.
Yeah.
And you guys need to
get over it. So he failed to apologize and instead criticized the media. Sunak's appointment of Zahawi has come under question from some Conservative MPs, leading to scrutiny over Sunak's own knowledge of the situation. The Prime Minister is facing challenges from multiple scandals, and former Chancellor George Osborne warned that Sunak's premiership risks being brought down by the scandals around the Conservative Party. It started already. It started. If he makes it to the end of the year, I'll be quite surprised.
Conservatives are a mess. Like
a big mess.
You guys are absolutely ridiculous. It's just non-stop. Somebody gets in. Realistically, though, playing politics, they need to get rid of Rishi.
Yeah.
They know that Rishi cannot win a general
He cannot win a general election, no.
They know that they don't have much time to have him around, then try and swap him out, get somebody else in before a general election is called, because the country needs to warm up to whoever the next one is going to be. So you basically have about 18. Well, you don't even have 18 months. You've got a year because you need to run for a year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is strike 1. We're going to have 2 more strikes, probably going to be monthly, and he'll probably be out by June.
June, you think that? No, you know what?
He's probably going to be out by June because you need somebody in this year to then
speak to the Conservative Party base.
Yeah, and then they've got to announce in 2024 because it needs to happen between 2024 and 2025.
Right.
So, yeah. They know Rishi ain't going to win a general election. And he would know this too. He would know I'm going to be PM for, a little while. And then he gets his over 100K a year anyway.
Well, I was going to say, so the question is that if you know that you're not going to be in this position for a long time, how do you maximize you being in this position? So you know that there's a 100K waiting for you at the end, which, in all fairness, is chicken feed to him. It's more about what you can do whilst you're there and the deals and the things that you can put in place. But there you go.
So
it's all speculation. We don't know. What do we know?
I would say that's how it's going to play out, though. So let's see. Really, who would take over from him? But he's going to.
I think this is the interesting thing because I really think that Boris has had his moment. I don't think he can do a comeback. But there isn't another personality that I can think of in the party that would actually. Maybe George Osborne could make a comeback.
I mean, Michael Gove is always throwing his hat in.
We are tired. Michael, we are tired.
But Michael Gove is a bit like Joe Biden. Keep on keeping on, keep on.
Maybe he'll eventually get, maybe.
I'm sure Michael Gove is going to throw his hat into the ring. But
look, this is the thing. This is the difference that, somebody like Michael Gove has the privilege of being able to still be at an older age and throw your hat into the ring in these certain conditions, because that is a privilege not afforded to a lot of the population of this country, which brings us nicely on to our next story. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So the Chartered Management Institute, CMI, conducted a survey which showed that just 42% of UK managers are open to hiring older workers aged 50 to 64. Chancellor Jeremy Hunt is urging people who retired early to return to work due to 300,000 fewer people in employment. The CMI warns that to bring older workers back into the workforce, employers will need to shift their attitudes towards hiring. The survey found that 74% of managers were open to hiring younger workers aged 18 to 34, while 64% were open to hiring those aged 34 to 49, with the lowest number being 18% of managers open to hiring those aged over 60.
Wow, bleak.
Yeah.
That is not
because
good.
the thing is, you know, we're closer to 50 now.
No, we're not. We've just entered our 40s.
Yeah, so we're close to 50.
Okay, all right, go on.
You stay in denial. You stay in denial.
Okay.
So we're close to 50, and hearing something like this, you think this feels really unfair, because I think a 40-year-old now in 2023 isn't the same as a 40-year-old when our parents were 40, if that makes sense. Yeah. I think by we're generally a lot healthier, and still feel like we have way more to offer. So to feel like that at 50 already people are writing you off, when actually you've got so much. I guess on the flip side, a 50-year-old has a vast amount of experience to offer to any organization. The downside to that is you may feel like a 50-year-old is going to be stuck in their ways and isn't going to be open to change.
It's 50. That's the thing. I think it's going. It's technology. Mm-hmm. Technology has advanced things so fast that, let's say, the over 60s, depending on your industry, that may put you at a huge disadvantage if you haven't kept up with technology and how to use it. Yeah. And I think that if we were to delve deeper into the stats, it's one of those, who was you asking? What was the industries? I think there would be points where you'd be like, actually, maybe the knowledge base is so different. I am after a younger person who is kept up with that. And I think for us in our 40s now, going into our 60s, if we don't stay abreast of what's happening with technology, that would also happen to our generation. Yeah. But what people also miss out on is the knowledge, the wisdom of life that people can bring into a workforce. So maybe it's about tailoring jobs differently. Maybe you have a younger set of people doing the technology, but maybe actually putting in concepts and the thought or practices, you have more mature people. I've worked with a lady who works in the prison service, who's a prison officer. And she's like, the younger ones can't hold a job because it's too stressful. They don't have the life skills to deal with the prisoners. But they're always employing younger people and paying them less. And the older people that are there are now hitting retirement and leaving. And so they can't hold the prisons together in the same way. But that's maturity, because then you'll know how to command respect, how to speak to people, how to be nurturing or firm, discipline. Those are things that we're losing in industry. It's like the nuance of it. You need a range. You need a diversity of age. You need a diversity of people, ethnicities, and race to have an effective company. And people that don't see that, the world is changing. You'll fall off.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I agree. I really agree with everything you just said there. Like, I think you actually were spot on with that. Spot on. Well done.
Let's hope that people look into it, because if we don't have enough workers because everybody's gone back to their own countries, you are going to have to nurture the people that you have.
Yeah. I mean, that's also a thing, but we shall see. I mean, I guess our next story also kind of links into that. So our next story is about childcare providers saying that they have to put their prices up, and so. Childcare providers in the UK are raising prices and reducing staff and hours due to funding pressures, according to a survey from the charity Coram Family and Childcare. Now, 75% of councils that replied to the survey said providers were charging more than last year and struggling to recruit staff. Jo Callahan, who runs a small chain of nurseries in Essex, had to increase her fees by 10% this year and cut back on subsidised childcare places. Coram is warning of the impact on families, saying young children risk missing out on crucial education if parents cannot find suitable childcare. The average weekly cost of a full-time nursery place for a 2-year-old in England was £265.38 last year, and parents on some 2-year-olds are entitled to 15 hours per week of funded childcare during term time, with some working families double that. Now, going back to that cost, £265.38, the average weekly salary in the UK is actually like 640 something pounds.
Yeah.
So imagine if you've got 2 children, like 260, that's over £1,000 a month.
It's you can't do it. That's the problem. Or you rely on those 15 hours that you get, you may be able to top up. If you can't, then you need to go part-time. This is the thing. This is why it doesn't work. And if you are urging people go back to work, you have to help them with childcare. There's no two ways about it, because wages aren't increasing that much anyway. So what can you do? The government has to step in. It really is. It's a conundrum, really, isn't it? It's a hard one to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where you go with it. I mean, I guess we were lucky we've always been lucky when it comes to childcare, and so we've never really had to experience the real brunt end of this. But so moving on. Next story: the UK bans a toxic diet pill. The UK government is adding a toxic chemical, DNP, which is dinitrophenol, to a list of regulated poisons following a campaign by families of those who have died from taking it. DNP, classified as an explosive, is marketed online as a weight loss aid or fat burner and has been banned for human consumption. From October the 1st, 2023, DNP will require a license from a registered pharmacist for purchase. The family of Bethany Shipsey, who died from consuming DNP in 2017, have campaigned for an outright ban of DNP instead of just regulation. Now, if this thing is so serious...
That's mad. How did it get here?
What? But why are we waiting until October?
What? How was it allowed to be put in pill form and be sold? And I'm like, what?
It's insane. Like, I don't... I mean, the Royal Pharmaceutical Society has called for a complete ban on DNP, and the Food Standards Agency has intervened in 515 cases related to its sales online. Now, that is obviously, and this is without sounding like an old person, but this is the problem with the internet, because the internet has allowed, because there is this level of dysregulation. Yeah. You can just go online, get an influencer to sell diet pills, and people are taking them and they have no idea what's inside of them.
At all. What it's doing. I mean, this is the thing. You don't really... You go on like the before and after pictures. It's so easy to get caught into that, like the before and after pictures, and this is what I've been taking. And you don't actually think of all of the things that could be in the pill. Mm-hmm. But that's quite scary. Yeah. Even just in the concoction of it, the company making it that put this formula together. Yeah. It's quite scary.
Well, hopefully, I mean, look, they say in October. I think something should be done sooner than that, but we shall see. We shall see. Moving on to our parenting conundrum.
I think you should read it because it's from a father's perspective. It'll be good in a man's voice.
Okay. So here we go. So for some reason, my 14-year-old son cannot... For some reason...
I found this one, but it's cracked me up. I thought we should have some Monday shit. It is a parenting conundrum, though.
Okay. So, for some reason, my 14-year-old son cannot wipe properly. This was never a concern to me, as his mum did the laundry. Unfortunately, she is sick right now. So, hang on, you knew?
What?
that he can't wipe properly, but it wasn't a concern because she was dealing with the laundry.
No, I think he's saying
he didn't know.
Yeah,
Right.
He doesn't do
the laundry. Okay. So unfortunately, she is sick right now. So I have taken over the household chores that she used to handle. My son is still responsible for his, and I do mine as well as hers. The first day I did the laundry, I gagged and almost puked from his... Oh, man. If we were 3, and not fully potty trained, I might understand how they end up like this. But he is a healthy young man. He should not be leaving his backside unwiped. I talked to him about it, and he said he would make an effort to do a...
Carry on.
He said he would make an effort to do a better job. Nope, no change in the situation. So I went to the hardware store and installed a wand bidet in the bathroom he uses. Oh, we already have one in ours. I told him that he has a choice of either using the bidet or washing his own underwear. He doesn't know how to use the washing machine and refuses to do them by hand. He started going...
Just make me laugh. Go on.
He started going commando, which just meant the problem was in his genes now. So I said that we might need to take him to the doctor to see what is wrong with him, if it's physical or psychological. I also said that the next time his friends were over, I was going to ask them if they left their underwear in the same condition. I would never actually embarrass him like that. You really, really should. To be fair, no, you shouldn't, because the fact that he's 14, this is a bit... Anyway, he said I was being out of order, and he called his mum to tell her what I was doing. She said that she was just... What?
Keep on going. People at home.
Sorry. She said that she was just like that, and I could deal with it until she was better. So she's just admitted to having soiled...
No.
That's what it says.
She's saying that she was also dismayed by it, but she's just decided to carry on cleaning his stuff. So
she said,
carry on.
Oh, sorry, my bad. She said that he was just like that, and I could deal with it until she was better. I don't think that's a great plan. If this kid never learns to wipe his ass, he will be bereft of a sexual partner without a poop fetish. I'm not kink shaming him if that's his thing. He has started using the bidet, but he says that it's gross and weird. Like, more gross and weird than having poo in your bum. I said it was grosser and weirder for a 14-year-old to crap his pants every day. We are both stressed out about his mum, but this situation isn't because of her. I asked her. That was traumatic, not gonna lie.
What advice do you give to...
Again, I know you told me off for saying this, but you failed. Like, there's no advice. You've just failed. How can your son be 14 and think that this is okay?
So has he failed, or the mum?
All of them. Like, the mum has failed because you're continually washing your 14-year-old son's pants and seeing them in this state of nastiness and not doing or saying anything about it. The dad has failed because you're only just now finding out. The son has failed because at 14, you should be able to work out for yourself that when you take your pants off at the end of the day and they look like Skid Row, you must know that that's a problem. So everybody has absolutely failed in this situation. And the fact that he would even have the audacity to turn around to his dad and say that a bidet, that Dad, cleaning my bum feels weird.
Because he's not used to it.
No.
That's hilarious.
It's not hilarious. It's traumatic. Is what it is. It's absolutely traumatic. Like,
I think they should go to the doctor. Like the comment.
I think they need to go to a doctor. I think they need to go to a therapist. All of it. This is ridiculous.
I mean, he could grow out of it. Who knows? But
he's 14. How long does he need?
Maybe like when he gets a girlfriend. I'm thinking that was probably...
No, you don't. You don't need a girlfriend telling you, actually, babe, you know what? Your pants being brown like this isn't cool. Yeah, like, you need to work that out before you...
But he doesn't seem... So, for one, he's not embarrassed. to leave his dirty underwear for it to be washed.
Well, why would he? Because no one's ever called him out on it.
So now his dad has called him out on it. He's not embarrassed because he's still doing it. He just transferred it to his genes. So maybe a partner saying something may embarrass him. Maybe that would do it. I don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm with Isha, who's listening. Thank you for watching and listening, Isha. She said that she's glad she has a strong stomach. Yeah, she's asked a valid question. Does that mean he just smells like...
He could.
Yeah, of course he does.
Yeah.
Of course he does. He's walking around all day. So, like, look, you get up.
Surely, like, some of his friends would be like...
Listen,
maybe all of them are at it.
Oh, the nastiness. Because you get up, you might have your morning constitutional. So that means you're going to school, running around, playing basketball or football or whatever, sweating into your ass crack with all the...
He must freak.
Nah.
He must.
No.
But yeah,
nah.
I was like, that is something else.
Nah. You ruined my morning with this. You absolutely ruined my morning. Absolutely ruined my morning.
Reading that just cracked me up.
No, I'm distraught.
I'm hoping that there's somebody that shares my sense of humor on this one. But
I
story made me laugh.
What?
I just was saying, could never be me. Like, there's loads of things you could bring into the house for your kid. Like, if you don't want to do the B-day, bring in those the tissue wipes.
Maybe this is, I know, like a while ago.
Maybe you actually have to pull down his pants and show him how to wipe his bum. Maybe that alone.
At 14, yeah?
It may have to be done.
So then that's also... So hang on. When he was learning to wipe his bum, were you not showing him this?
No, but he didn't learn properly because he's 14 and he still doesn't know. So after he's done a dump, swing open the door, show me how you wipe your bum. And I'm going to do this every time you're in the house.
Wow.
And I know that you're doing a poo. You're going to have to show me how you wipe your bum. Let's all be thoroughly embarrassed until you learn how to wipe your bum.
Another valid question from Isha.
Yeah.
What happens when he has the runs?
We know what happens.
Oh, this is no. Tomorrow, can I have a parenting conundrum? Yeah, I'm just. This was your ploy of getting out of parenting conundrums. What kind of nastiness is this?
I think there are probably parents that are going through this, and I'm giving them suggestions as to how.
I can understand like a parent going through it occasionally with a child up until like the age of 8, 9 years old, something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes they're in a rush, this, that, and the other. At hardback 14, like if they're in America, he's 2 years away from being able to drive a car.
Yeah. He doesn't know how to wipe his bum.
No. He doesn't want to.
Yeah, he hasn't.
He doesn't want to. This is a choice. This is absolutely a choice.
I remember seeing a meme from a guy who was saying that he had got his diet to a point where his poo was just always solid. So he didn't have to. It was on TikTok.
No.
I feel like this is that cracking up is why I thought that was flipping hilarious.
This also reminds me, there was another meme or something going around where like a guy had said there was a story of a guy that a girl having this problem with her boyfriend, and basically his response was, "I'm not gay in it."
Yeah, he doesn't. Yes, I remember.
So maybe this is a thing.
I'm saying it's a thing.
Oh, Lord help these children. Lord help these children.
It's a thing, man. It's a thing. So,
no, this is...
I don't know why. Yeah, he may be like, if I dig too deep in my bum and clean it properly.
No, all right, I'm done. Okay. Guys, that is our time. I had no idea this episode was going to go there, but it did. Thank you for all of those that were watching with us. Thank you, Isha, in the comments. And we will see you back here tomorrow at 12 for another Forever's Sake Daily. And there will be no talk about bums and poo. Thank you. Bye. Bye.